Everything you've been told about manifestation is a lie. You've watched hours of videos, read every book, and followed every technique, yet your life remains the same. You've visualized, affirmed, and journaled your desires, but deep down, you know the truth. Nothing has changed. And it's not your fault. You were sold an illusion, a watered-down version of manifestation that keeps you in a cycle of endless learning without real transformation. The manifestation industry thrives on keeping you hooked, always searching for the next secret, the next guru, the next missing piece that will finally make it work. But here's the reality. Manifestation isn't about hoping, wishing, or waiting for the universe to drop miracles in your lap. It's about becoming. The reason you haven't manifested what you want is because you're still the same person, living in the same state, thinking the same thoughts, and feeling the same emotions. Until that changes, nothing else will. This is where it all shifts. This is the last manifestation video you will ever need, because after this, you won't need another. You will understand why everything you've been taught has only scratched the surface, and you will finally break free from the cycle of passive learning and step into active creation. Not through some magic trick, not through wishful thinking, but through the one thing that actually shapes your reality, who you are. You feel like you're making progress. You watch manifestation videos, read about the law of assumption, and listen to people who seem to have cracked the code. Each new insight fills you with hope, a sense of excitement, as if you're finally getting closer to figuring it all out. But then reality hits. Days pass, weeks pass, and nothing in your life actually changes. The same problems persist, the same doubts creep in, and the gap between where you are and where you want to be feels just as wide as before. Frustration sets in. You wonder if you're doing something wrong, if you missed a crucial step, if you need yet another technique. And so, the cycle repeats. You consume more content, you take in more theories, and you feel like you're growing. But in reality, you're stuck in the same place. This is the trap. The illusion of progress without real movement. It's the biggest reason why most people never actually manifest what they desire. They become obsessed with learning, chasing more knowledge, gathering more techniques, yet they never cross the threshold into doing. They are stuck in the identity of a student, not the identity of a creator. And here's the truth. Manifestation does not respond to what you know. It responds to what you embody. You don't manifest by intellectualizing concepts. You manifest by becoming the version of you that already has what you want. Right now, your subconscious mind sees no real difference between watching hours of manifestation content and taking real action. It gives you a dopamine hit, a false sense of progress, as if simply understanding manifestation is enough to make it work. But understanding something and living it are two completely different realities. That's why so many people fall into the cycle of consuming self-improvement without ever actually improving. They get stuck in the preparation phase, always thinking they need just one more insight, one more piece of clarity before they can fully commit. But clarity doesn't come from more thinking, it comes from being. You have to ask yourself, have you actually changed? Or have you just filled your mind with information? Have you truly shifted into a new state of being? Or are you still waiting for external proof before you allow yourself to feel different? This is why manifestation feels slow for most people, because they are waiting to see before they believe, instead of believing first and letting reality catch up. The subconscious mind does not respond to wishes, hopes, or passive intentions. It responds to your dominant state of being, the frequency you operate from every single day. There are things I can't even say on YouTube, powerful truths that shift reality in ways most people never discover. That's why we created Insights Academy, a free newsletter where we reveal the hidden layers of manifestation. If you're serious about real transformation, the link is in the description. And for a limited time, you'll receive a free copy of the Kybalion when you sign up. The truth is, manifestation isn't something you do, it's something you are. Your life right now is a perfect reflection of your current identity, your habitual thoughts, your deepest assumptions. If nothing has changed externally, it's because nothing has truly changed internally. And this is where most people get frustrated, because they think they are changing. They meditate, they script, they visualize, but when they look in the mirror, they are still the same person, feeling the same way, believing the same things deep down. Your subconscious is not fooled by surface-level actions. You can recite affirmations all day long, but if your dominant state remains one of doubt, nothing will shift. You can visualize your dream life every morning, but if you return to your usual patterns of stress, fear, and unworthiness, your reality will keep reflecting that back to you. Manifestation is not a game of intellect. It's a game of alignment. You attract not what you want, but what you are in resonance with. Think about the things that have manifested effortlessly in your life. The friendships, opportunities, experiences that seem to just fall into place. They happened not because you forced them, but because you were already a match for them in some way. Now think about the things you've struggled to manifest, the ones that feel just out of reach. The difference isn't the desire itself, it's the energy you carry around it. When something feels far away, when it feels difficult, when it feels like you have to force it into existence, that's a sign you are not in alignment with it. The key isn't to try harder. The key is to stop chasing and start shifting, to stop consuming and start embodying, to stop being a student of manifestation and start being the person who already has what they want. Until you cross that threshold, manifestation will always feel slow, inconsistent, or impossible. But once you do, reality bends in ways that defy logic, and that is the shift we are about to make. You've been told to visualize. Close your eyes. Imagine your dream life. Feel the emotions of already having it, and it will come to you. You've tried it. You've sat there, eyes shut, picturing yourself in the perfect job, the ideal relationship, the dream house, the life you desire. And maybe, for a few moments, it feels real. But then you open your eyes, and nothing has changed. The same circumstances stare back at you, the same reality that doesn't match what you just imagined. You feel the weight of that contradiction, and doubt starts creeping in. Maybe you're doing it wrong. Maybe you need to visualize harder, longer, with more intensity. So you do it again. You try different techniques, guided meditations, scripting, vision boards. You create the most vivid scenes in your mind, hoping that if you can just imagine it perfectly, it will finally become real. But it doesn't. Because visualization alone is not manifestation. This is the biggest lie in the manifestation space. The idea that imagining something is enough to bring it into reality. It's not. You don't manifest by seeing your desires in your mind. You manifest by living them mentally and emotionally before they ever materialize. There's a critical difference. Most people visualize as if they are dreaming of something distant, something separate from them. They imagine their ideal life like a movie, watching it as if they are an outsider looking in. But the subconscious mind does not respond to distant fantasies. It responds to identity. The reason visualization doesn't work for most people is because they are using it as a tool to escape their current reality, rather than as a way to shift into a new one. They spend time in their imagination, feeling good for a few minutes. But the moment they return to their normal routine, they are back in their old state of being. Nothing sticks. They return to the same doubts, the same emotions of lack, the same patterns of thought that reinforce their current circumstances. And that's why nothing changes. Manifestation is not about picturing a different future. It's about stepping into it now. Your subconscious does not respond to the occasional moment of belief. It responds to what you consistently accept as true. If you visualize being wealthy, but for the rest of the day you feel broke, stressed about money, and identify with struggle, what do you think your subconscious is going to manifest? It's not what you want that creates your reality. It's what you accept as your dominant truth. This is why so many people stay stuck, endlessly repeating techniques that only reinforce the gap between where they are and where they want to be. They visualize, But deep down, they still see themselves as the person who doesn't have what they want. They script their dream life, but when they wake up, they still emotionally react to their current reality as if it's absolute. They affirm abundance, but when the bills come in, they panic, reinforcing their belief in scarcity. Their subconscious picks up on these contradictions, and as a result, nothing changes. If you want to manifest, you have to stop treating your desires like distant possibilities and start treating them as present realities. You have to feel, think, and act as the version of yourself who already has them. This is not about pretending. It's not about faking it until you make it. It's about embodying the identity of the person who has already manifested what you desire. You don't visualize wealth. You become a person who expects wealth, who moves through life as if it's already done, who no longer operates from lack, but from certainty. You don't visualize love. You shift into the emotional state of someone who is already loved, already worthy, already fulfilled. The secret to manifestation is not in what you see when you close your eyes. It's in who you are when you open them. If you visualize success but walk through your day doubting yourself, your subconscious sees the doubt, not the vision. If you visualize freedom but continue making choices that keep you trapped, your subconscious registers the contradiction, not the desire. Your subconscious does not respond to daydreams. It responds to patterns. It responds to what you consistently embody, not what you occasionally wish for. So ask yourself, are you living as the person who already has what you want, or are you just hoping for it? Are you waiting for external proof before you allow yourself to feel different? Or are you deciding to be that person now? Because until you shift internally, nothing will shift externally. Until you stop seeing your desires as something outside of you, you will always be chasing them. But the moment you start aligning with them, the moment you stop visualizing and start being, that's when everything begins to change. Everything in this universe operates on frequency. Light, sound, thoughts, emotions. Everything vibrates at a certain frequency, and whether you realize it or not, you are constantly broadcasting a signal. That signal is not determined by what you want or what you visualize. It is determined by what you are. The life you are living right now is an exact match to the frequency you are emitting. Your financial situation, your relationships, your health, everything in your reality is a reflection of the dominant vibration you hold. This is why manifestation is not about forcing things to happen, but about aligning with them. Your subconscious mind does not understand the difference between what is real and what is vividly imagined. It only understands what you accept as true. This is why your beliefs shape your life. If you believe deep down that money is hard to make, no amount of affirmations or vision boards will override that belief unless you change your internal state. If you believe you are unworthy of love, no amount of external validation will fill that void, because your subconscious will always guide you back to the reality that matches your belief system. Your subconscious is like a thermostat. It keeps returning you to the temperature you are set at, no matter how much you try to force external changes. If you want to change your life, you must change the setting. This is not just spiritual philosophy. It is backed by science. Quantum physics has already proven that the observer influences reality. The famous double-slit experiment showed that the simple act of observing particles changes how they behave. Reality is not fixed. It bends in response to consciousness. Your perception, your expectations, and your emotional state determine how reality shapes itself around you. This is why two people can live in the same world and experience completely different realities. One person sees endless opportunities, while another sees only struggle. One person attracts love effortlessly, while another constantly experiences rejection. The difference isn't luck, it's alignment. Think about the placebo effect. A person takes a sugar pill, but because they believe it's real medicine, their body responds as if they were actually treated. Their belief alters their physical state. If a simple belief can override biological processes, imagine what it does to your external world. The same principle applies to manifestation. Your subconscious does not care about what you wish for. It cares about what you truly accept as reality. If you are operating from a place of scarcity, fear, or doubt, that is the signal you are broadcasting, and your external world will continue reflecting that back to you. This is why people who are desperate to manifest something often push it further away. They are not in alignment with the version of themselves that already has what they want. They are stuck in a frequency of lack, of wanting, of hoping, instead of knowing. When you want something, you affirm to the universe that you don't have it. When you feel like you need something, you reinforce the belief that it is missing. But when you embody the feeling of already having it, when you shift into the version of you who expects it as normal, reality has no choice but to catch up. Your external world is always playing catch-up to your internal state. If you are stuck in the cycle of wishing and waiting, you are delaying your manifestation. The moment you shift into certainty, into knowing, into the expectation that your desire is already yours, you collapse the time delay and pull it into your reality. This is not about blind faith. It is about understanding how the subconscious mind and the universe work together. The universe is not testing you. It is not waiting to reward you. It is simply mirroring you. If you are not getting what you want, it is not because something outside of you is blocking it. It is because you are not yet in alignment with it. So how do you align? You shift your internal world before the external proof arrives. You no longer wait for evidence before you allow yourself to feel abundant, confident, loved, successful. You decide. You condition your subconscious with new patterns, new thoughts, new emotions, until they become your dominant state. You stop reacting to what is and start responding to what you are creating. This is the real work of manifestation. It is not about waiting for the universe to give you a sign. It is about becoming the sign. And when you do, reality has no choice but to rearrange itself around you. Manifestation is not about attracting something external to you. It's about becoming the version of yourself who already has it. The reason most people struggle with manifestation is that they remain in the mindset of someone who is trying to get something, instead of being the person who already has it. There is a fundamental difference. If you are trying to manifest money, but you still think and feel like someone who struggles financially, your subconscious will reject the idea of abundance as something foreign. If you are trying to manifest love, but you still operate from unworthiness, self-doubt, and fear of rejection, you will continue experiencing relationships that reflect those beliefs. Your subconscious is not going to override your identity just because you wish it would. It will only bring you experiences that match who you believe yourself to be. This is where most people go wrong. They visualize the life they want, but they still walk through the world as the same person. They still react to circumstances in the same way. They still operate from the same emotions. They still hold on to the same assumptions about themselves and the world. The key to manifestation is not thinking about your desire. It's stepping into the version of you who already has it. That means your thoughts, emotions, actions, and expectations must align with the reality you are calling in. You have to stop acting like someone who is waiting and start acting like someone who already knows. Your identity is the filter through which your subconscious processes reality. If something contradicts that identity, your mind will reject it. This is why people self-sabotage when they manifest things they don't feel ready for. A person who suddenly receives a large amount of money but still holds a subconscious belief that they are bad with money will find ways to lose it. A person who attracts love but still carries the identity of someone who is unlovable will unconsciously push it away. This is why people who win the lottery often end up broke again, because they never shifted their self-image to align with wealth. The external world changed, but their internal programming didn't, so their subconscious pulled them back to what felt familiar. The fastest way to manifest something is to assume the identity of the version of you who already has it. Not in a forced or fake way, but in a way that shifts your entire state of being. You don't need to trick yourself. You need to condition yourself. If you were already wealthy, how would you think? How would you walk? How would you carry yourself? If you were already deeply loved and secure in a relationship, how would you feel? How would you approach the world? If you were already successful, confident and abundant, what choices would you make differently today? Most people hesitate at this point because they feel like they are lying to themselves. But what they don't realize is that they have already been living in an illusion of limitation. They have been conditioned to believe in lack, in struggle, in waiting, when in reality, they have always had the power to shift their state. The only reason it feels unnatural to step into abundance is because they have spent years reinforcing the opposite. But the subconscious does not care what is true, it only cares what is repeated. If you tell yourself something long enough, feel it deeply enough, and live in that state consistently, your mind will begin to accept it as truth. And once that happens, the external world follows. The difference between those who manifest effortlessly and those who struggle is simple. The ones who succeed do not wait for external proof before they believe. They don't wait for money to feel abundant. They don't wait for success to feel worthy. They don't wait for a relationship to feel loved. They embody those states first. They assume the identity of the version of themselves who already has it. And because they hold that state consistently, reality has no choice but to mirror it back to them. You cannot manifest something that contradicts your dominant identity. If you see yourself as someone who struggles, life will continue proving you right. If you see yourself as someone who always finds solutions, who always has opportunities, who always wins, life will prove you right as well. The choice is yours. The only difference between the version of you who has everything you want and the version of you right now is the state you choose to live in. Choose wisely because the universe is always listening. The greatest obstacle to manifestation isn't a lack of desire, knowledge, or effort. It's resistance. The moment you start worrying about when something will manifest, how it will happen, or whether you're doing it right, you create a block. The very act of trying too hard to make something happen signals to your subconscious that you don't truly believe it's already yours. And if you don't believe it, you're not in alignment with it. Anxiety is the mind's way of clinging to control. It's the fear of the unknown, the discomfort of not having external proof yet. But the paradox of manifestation is that certainty creates reality, not doubt. Most people sabotage their manifestations because they let their emotions be dictated by what they see instead of what they know. They look at their current reality, see no changes, and immediately assume that it's not working. That assumption, that reaction, reinforces their old state of being, keeping them stuck exactly where they are. The people who manifest effortlessly aren't the ones who obsess over techniques or check for results every 5 minutes. They're the ones who have detached, the ones who have stepped into such a deep knowing that they no longer need external validation. They don't need to see it first to believe it's happening. They believe first. And because they believe, it must happen. This is why some people struggle for years trying to manifest something, while others experience rapid, almost instant shifts, because the latter have let go of the need to control the outcome. You have been trained to believe that effort equals results, that if you just work harder, focus more, push through, you'll get what you want. That mindset works in traditional goal setting, but it destroys manifestation. When you chase something with desperation, you push it away. When you grasp, when you try to force it into existence, you create energetic friction. You are signaling that you don't have it yet, that you are lacking it, that it is separate from you. And as long as you operate from that state, the universe will continue to reflect that separation back to you. Detachment is not about giving up. It's about releasing need. It's shifting from, I hope this happens, to, I know this is already mine. It's no longer living in a state of waiting, no longer measuring time, no longer doubting whether it will come. It is an unshakable expectation, a quiet confidence that doesn't waver regardless of what your physical reality looks like. It is the feeling of knowing the package is already shipped. You don't stress over whether it will arrive. You just go about your life until it does. But most people struggle with this because they don't trust the process. They want proof before they relax. They look for signs, try to measure progress, constantly check whether things are shifting. And every time they do, they reaffirm to their subconscious that they don't actually believe it's happening yet. The moment you start checking for results, you plant seeds of doubt. The moment you try to manipulate the outcome, you reinforce the belief that it's not yet yours. When you are truly aligned, you don't chase, you attract. You don't beg the universe for what you want. You command it with your certainty. You live as though it's already done, and because you accept it as reality, reality bends to match. But you cannot do this if you are stuck in a loop of fear, constantly doubting whether it's working, constantly looking for signs, constantly reinforcing your old patterns. You have to step into complete trust, and that trust must remain unshaken, no matter what is happening around you. This is why meditation, breathwork, and self-regulation are crucial, not because they make manifestation happen, but because they train your nervous system to remain in a state of calm expectation instead of anxiety and resistance. When your mind is still, when your emotions are stable, you become a clear channel for what you desire. You stop sending mixed signals. You stop blocking your manifestations with doubt, and you allow things to unfold effortlessly. The fastest way to receive what you want is to let go of the need to have it, to detach so deeply that you would be perfectly fine without it, not because you don't care, but because you trust so fully that it's already yours. And the moment you reach that state, everything shifts. Not because you worked harder, not because you tried more, but because you finally got out of your own way. Your environment is either reinforcing your manifestations or working against them. Every single thing around you, your routines, your surroundings, the people you interact with, acts as a mirror for your internal state. If you are struggling to manifest, it's not just your thoughts and emotions you need to shift. It's everything you allow into your space. Your subconscious mind is constantly absorbing signals from your surroundings, and if your environment is misaligned with the reality you are trying to create, it will be nearly impossible to maintain the new state of being you need to manifest what you desire. Most people don't realize how much their environment dictates their energy. They wake up in the same room that reminds them of their struggles, surrounded by objects tied to their past identity. They go through their day interacting with people who reinforce their old patterns, engaging in conversations that keep them trapped in lack, doubt, and limitation. They expose themselves to media that fills their mind with fear, negativity, and distraction. And then they wonder why it's so hard to shift into a new reality. The truth is, you cannot expect to become a new version of yourself while staying immersed in the same environment that created the old one. Your surroundings hold energy. The places you go, the things you see, the way you spend your time, all of it is influencing your subconscious programming. If your goal is to step into abundance, but you're constantly surrounded by reminders of struggle, your subconscious will continue reinforcing that struggle. If you're trying to manifest confidence and success, but spend your time around people who doubt you, who reinforce limiting beliefs, who live in negativity, your subconscious will continue matching that frequency. This is why certain people can spend years trying to manifest change but never see results. They are trying to reprogram their mind while keeping the same external conditions that shaped their old identity. Your habits are just as important as your environment. Most people wake up and immediately check their phone, scrolling through social media, consuming content that sets the tone for their day. They get lost in distractions, responding to notifications, reacting to the outside world before they've even had a moment to align with themselves. They go through the same repetitive actions every day, unaware that their daily routines are keeping them locked into a cycle. Manifestation isn't just about what you think, it's about how you live. Your rituals, your habits, your daily patterns are the foundation of your reality. Look at your life right now. How do you start your day? What is the first thing you do when you wake up? Do you intentionally set the frequency for your day? Or do you let external influences dictate your mindset? Do you spend time aligning with your desired state? Or do you jump straight into old habits that reinforce the very things you're trying to change? If you are serious about shifting your reality, you need to take control of the way you move through your day. Your morning routine should be sacred. The first thoughts you allow into your mind should reinforce your manifestations, not contradict them. Instead of waking up and consuming social media, Take time to align with the state you want to embody. Instead of reacting to the world, create your own frequency before you step into it. The most successful people, the ones who manifest effortlessly, don't allow the world to dictate their energy. They set the tone first. They control their focus, and because of that, reality bends to match them. Your external world is simply a reflection of your internal state, but that reflection works both ways. The more you surround yourself with environments, habits, and people that align with your desired reality, the easier it becomes to stay in that frequency. This isn't about making massive changes overnight. It's about small, intentional shifts that rewire your subconscious through repetition. Every action you take, every choice you make, is sending a signal to your mind about who you are. When you start shaping your environment and routines to match your new identity, you stop needing willpower to stay in alignment, because everything around you is reinforcing it naturally. The version of you who already has what you desire doesn't live in the past. They don't engage in old patterns. They don't surround themselves with things that contradict their new state. They have structured their life to support their manifestations, not sabotage them. This is the difference between those who manifest with ease and those who struggle for years. It's not just mindset, it's lifestyle. If you want to become the person who already has what you want, you have to create an environment where that version of you can thrive. Only then does manifestation become effortless. Your subconscious mind is the real architect of your reality. Every belief you hold, every pattern you repeat, every emotion you experience on autopilot, it all comes from the programming embedded deep in your subconscious. The reason manifestation feels slow or impossible for so many people is because they are trying to change their lives on a conscious level, while their subconscious is still wired to the opposite. No matter how many affirmations they say, no matter how many vision boards they create, their subconscious is still running the same script it has always run. And until that script changes, nothing else will. Most of your subconscious programming was installed when you were a child. Before the age of 7, your brain was operating in a highly suggestible state, absorbing everything around you like a sponge. The beliefs you picked up from your parents, from society, from experiences, whether they were empowering or limiting, became the foundation of how you see yourself and the world. If you were told that money is hard to make, that success requires struggle, that love is conditional, or that you are not enough, those beliefs didn't just disappear as you got older. They became the invisible filters through which you experience life. This is why so many people struggle with manifestation. They want something consciously, but their subconscious is still running on old programming that contradicts it. They try to manifest abundance while still holding onto a subconscious belief in scarcity. They try to manifest love while still identifying with unworthiness. They try to manifest success while still fearing failure. The subconscious mind always wins because it controls 95% of your daily thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. If your subconscious does not accept a belief as true, it will reject any external attempts to change it. This is why surface-level techniques don't work if they aren't backed by deep subconscious alignment. You can affirm, "I am wealthy," all day, but if your subconscious is still wired to believe that money is hard to come by, those affirmations will have no effect. You can visualize your dream life every morning, but if deep down you still feel unworthy of it, your subconscious will continue manifesting experiences that match your dominant self-image. You do not manifest what you want. You manifest what your subconscious believes to be normal for you. Reprogramming the subconscious requires repetition and emotional intensity. The subconscious does not change through logic, it changes through experience. This is why the fastest way to shift your subconscious programming is to consistently live in the emotional and mental state of the reality you want to create. The more you repeat a belief, the more real it becomes to your subconscious. The more you embody a state of being, the more natural it feels. Eventually, what once felt unfamiliar becomes your new normal. Think about anything you've mastered in life. At first, it was uncomfortable. It felt unnatural, even forced. But through repetition, it became second nature. Your subconscious accepted it as truth. This is how all change happens. The problem is, most people give up before they reach that point. They practice new beliefs for a few days or weeks, but when they don't see immediate external changes, they go back to their old patterns. And in doing so, they reinforce the very reality they were trying to escape. If you want to manifest something new, you have to be willing to override the old programming that tells you it's impossible. You have to stop looking at your current reality as proof of what is true and start treating your desired reality as if it is already fact. The subconscious doesn't care about what is real, it only cares about what is repeated. And once a belief is embedded deeply enough, it stops being something you try to manifest. It becomes who you are. And when that happens, the external world has no choice but to reflect it back to you. Manifestation is not a technique. It is not something you switch on when you need something and then abandon once you get it. It is a way of life, a constant state of being, an unshakable understanding that your reality is always responding to you. Most people fail to manifest because they treat it like a temporary practice instead of a permanent shift in identity. They visualize, affirm, and feel good for a few moments, but then they go back to living in the same mindset, reacting to the world as if nothing has changed. And because they continue embodying their old self, their old life continues playing on repeat. You cannot dip in and out of the manifestation process and expect results. The version of you who has what you want is not someone you visit occasionally, it is someone you become. Your dominant thoughts, emotions, and expectations must match your desired reality consistently, not just when it's convenient. If you only feel abundant when you are affirming wealth, but you spend the rest of the day stressing over money, your subconscious registers the stress, not the affirmation. If you only feel worthy when you are visualizing love, but you spend the rest of the day doubting yourself, your subconscious registers the doubt, not the visualization. Your subconscious does not respond to what you do in isolated moments. It responds to what you embody throughout your daily life. Most people live reactively, allowing external circumstances to dictate their internal state. They let their emotions be controlled by what they see, and in doing so, they reinforce the very reality they are trying to change. But manifestation does not work that way. You do not wait for your reality to shift before you shift internally. You shift internally first, and then your reality follows. This is why living the process is so important. It forces you to stop waiting and start being. It forces you to stop looking at the world for proof and instead become the proof. You have to decide that what you want is already yours. Not someday, not when the evidence appears, not when things feel right, but now. You have to walk, talk, think, and move as if you are already living the reality you desire. And this isn't about pretending. It's about embodying. It's about knowing so deeply that it is already done that you no longer question it. That is the state that shifts everything. That is the state where manifestation becomes effortless. When you truly live the process, you no longer need constant reassurance. You stop looking for signs. You stop doubting whether you're doing it right. You stop treating it like a method and start treating it like a fundamental truth. And that is the moment everything shifts, when you stop waiting for your reality to change and start being the change. Because manifestation is not about getting what you want. It's about becoming the version of you who already has it. And once you do, reality has no choice but to align. This is the last manifestation lesson you will ever need. Not because you've learned a new technique, not because you've discovered some hidden trick, but because you now understand that manifestation was never about techniques to begin with. It was always about who you are. Everything in your life right now is a direct reflection of the state you have been living in, the identity you have been embodying, the beliefs you have accepted as truth. And if you take away nothing else from this, remember this one thing. You are not trying to manifest something. You are becoming the version of you who already has it. Most people will watch this and nod in agreement. They will feel a spark of realization, maybe even a rush of inspiration. And then they will close this video and go right back to their old patterns, their old thoughts, their old way of being, and nothing will change. Not because they didn't understand the concepts, not because manifestation doesn't work, but because they never made the decision to truly embody this knowledge. That is the difference between those who transform their lives and those who stay stuck. One group lives this truth. The other just knows it. Which one will you be? The real test begins the moment you step away from this message. Will you continue waiting for proof before you shift? Will you continue reacting to your current reality as if it is absolute? Or will you finally step into the version of yourself who already has what you desire? Not as a temporary experiment, but as a permanent way of being. That decision is yours. But understand this, there is no halfway. You either fully align with your desires or you remain in the cycle of hoping, waiting, and doubting. You cannot be both the person who is waiting for their manifestation and the person who already has it. You have to choose. For those who are truly ready to step into this fully, there is more waiting for you. There are things I can't share here. Deeper knowledge that shifts reality in ways most people never experience. That's why we created Insights Academy, a free newsletter where we uncover the hidden layers of manifestation. The knowledge that's too powerful, too unconventional to be shared openly. And for a limited time, when you sign up, you'll receive a free copy of The Kybalion, a book that has influenced some of the greatest minds in history. The link is in the description. If you're serious about mastering this, don't just think about it, take action. Because the difference between knowing and becoming starts now. If this video resonated with you, let us know by commenting, "I understood it."